Nothing.
We're doing it this way.
Yep. Light is coming in through the window. Oh, we'll do that one later.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to Self-Control.
Your eyes are in shadow.
We're going to we're going to talk about Ticket to Ride.
Oh dear, look at me.
Yeah, that doesn't work because if I straighten my head, then it does that. So,
Ticket to Ride.
talking to Ticket to Ride.
Got a ticket to ride.
The
Yeah.
classic
It might
Ticket to Ride.
And the stuff we got to go with it.
So, Ticket to Ride. Alan R. Moon is the designer. It's been around forever.
It hasn't been around forever.
Forever.
It's been
It
around
was,
a number of years. Forever is no.
Yeah.
It hasn't been around forever.
It's been around forever. Alan Moon is the one who discovered it, dug it up out of the ground
Seriously dug it. He really dug it.
where it was sitting,
I
and
don't think any of that happened.
so yeah, it evolved alongside plants, I believe.
Facts.
Okay, that's not at all what happened. This guy designed a game and had it produced, and now we have it.
Unlikely.
So there's many different versions. So we've got the original Ticket to Ride, and since then they've come out with a number of expansions. We happen to have picked up Europe and San Francisco, which is just a small little version of it. There's Asia. There's
There's a lot of expansion maps that instead of buying a big box like this, it just comes with a map and some rules, maybe some components that change it around a little bit, but
you
you
need
use
the cards.
you use the
need
base-
the destinations.
you use the base game for most of it.
You can't use those destinations.
You don't
for
use these
Asia
destinations
because it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. But you use everything else. You just can't buy a little Asia box and be like, I'm playing. So
So, Ticket to Ride. Is this the first game I ever played?
I don't know.
Who can say, Spike?
I don't know. It's one of the first games I ever played.
Well, it's one that my parents really enjoy. And so you probably played it over there sometime when we were visiting.
And as I've talked about before, I have pink components because I have to have pink trains. So for Christmas one year, Norm ordered these, I think, off Etsy. They're just 3D printed trains. So
They actually came out with a set of pink trains to raise money for breast cancer awareness. But
why didn't I get those?
I'd gotten these first before those had
For
come
breast
out.
cancer. That's true.
And those, every time I see them, they're like sold out. So
Oh.
they're doing fine. They're raising the money that they wanted. So somebody from Etsy raised that money.
And I got my pink trains.
So starting with classic Ticket to Ride, vanilla Ticket to Ride.
Don't lick it.
It's basically a set collection game. Is what it boils down to. You have cards of different colors and track on the board that require certain colors to be able to place your trains down. So the game comes with these tiny little cards, and
You've got your tiny destinations. You've got your tiny colored trains that you use to buy tracks with. Oh, what's that doing in there?
so no, they're
What's
just
going on here?
they're just in there. We don't use those because the 1910 expansion added in larger size cards, much nicer to hold in your
Very
hand
nice.
than the others, and it also adds some new destination cards to go along with it. So it's not just a reprinting. They've added new tickets, different ways to play.
But we probably would have got it just for the reprinting for the bigger
Probably
cards.
would have just gotten it for the bigger cards because the bigger cards are so nice.
So you've got a board. I'm not going to open it up because it's big.
It's the United States.
And it's used. It's been used quite a bit, so we open it up as we play it. But you've got the United States, east to west, and you've got a touch of Canada, a few Canada cities in there as well. And you start the game off with a number of destination cards that's going from, let's say, Denver to Raleigh. So you're going to have to find a way to build your train from Denver to Raleigh. And then you've got other destinations you're trying to fulfill as well. You get bonus points if you have the longest connected train that doesn't branch off. And then you get bonus points for the most completed tickets at the end of the game. Any uncompleted ticket is negative points against you at the end of the game, so you want to complete all the tickets that you get. And that's the rules.
Yeah, so basically on your turn, you've only got 3 options, and you just pick one of them. The first one is drawing more train cards. You'll have a deck of cards and then 5 face up out in front of you. I'm not going to put all 5 out, but
Yeah, you will.
You got 4, you might as well do 5.
so you look at
Told you.
you look at the hand of cards that you have, and you look at the destinations on the track that you want, because there's different colors. This one's yellow, this one's pink, black. The grays, you can use any color.
But it has to be the
But they
same
have to be
color.
the same. And so you're going to look and be like, okay, if I need to make a route that uses 4 green trains, I might be like, you know what, I'm going to pick up this green into my hand. It gets refilled, and I'm going to pick this green up into my hand, and then it gets refilled. And that's your turn. If you don't like any of the ones that are out there, you can just take one off the top and then take one off the top. So, but you don't know what you're getting. So
There are locomotives out there, which are wild cards, and if you choose a locomotive off the face-up cards, you can only take 1 card. So if you take a locomotive, that's it.
you take the locomotive,
You
then
don't get
you're
a second
done.
draw.
But if you are like, I'm going to take one off the top, and it's a locomotive, you don't tell anybody.
On their business.
And then you're just like, I'm going to take another one off the top, and hopefully it's another locomotive. It's not.
Yeah,
but
it's not. But you could get 2.
You could get 2 locomotives in a turn if you're lucky.
Another option you have on your turn is you can take destination cards. So you're
going
also
to do destination cards before playing trains?
No, I'm just giving options. You're going in order, fine, whatever. He's such a rule follower.
He is one of them.
So the next thing is playing trains. So
If that's how you want to play.
that's how you win.
There's
So
only 4 out there.
Yes, and we're looking to add one more.
if you think it's time to put some trains down, you'd be like, okay, there's a route there that takes 3 orange. I'm going to play 3 orange cards from my hand, or 2 orange and a locomotive for 3 orange. And then you'll take 3 of your 45 trains and put them out on the map.
And as you see on the map, there's sections of trains, which are like one bullet point to another. And so that's the only space you can fill on your turn. You can't do, if you're doing Denver to Raleigh, you can't do that entire trek on one turn. You have to do section by section.
And you can't do partial. If there's a spot that needs 6 trains, you can't put 3 there and hope to put 3
You
there
need to
again
complete
later.
the whole section on your turn, or you don't get to complete that section that round.
So when you first initially place trains, you get some points immediately based on how big of a section you are. If 1 is 1 point, 2 is 2, 3 is 4, 4 is 7, 5 is 10, and 6 is 15. So
We played it a lot,
It
so we
goes up.
remember.
It goes up quite a bit. So if you can complete a bunch of big routes on your way, you're getting a lot of points immediately. The downside is you've only got 45 trains and you're trying to complete all the tickets in your hand. You start out with, I believe, 3, and at any point during the game, you can take third action.
Oh, are you tagging me in? As another action, you can take destination cards. So on your turn, you can just say you're going to have a stack of destination cards out on the board. And you're going to say, I'm going to take destinations. You'll take 3 destination cards. You'll look at them, and then you'll decide which one you're going to keep. You have to keep at least one. So it could end up that some of these cards are already resolved because of other tickets you've completed, in which case you're absolutely going to keep that one because
Why wouldn't you?
it's free points. You've already completed that trek. So you could be going to Sault Ste. Marie to Miami, which is 12 points because that's a pretty long trek. You may already have a lot of that completed, so you're going to keep that one. Or Los Angeles to Oklahoma City. So you're going to look at these 3 and you're going to decide which one you're going to keep. But again, you need to keep one you know you have a chance of completing, because if you don't, whatever that value is for that destination is what you're going to lose. So if I complete Denver to St. Louis, I'll get 6 points. If I don't complete that, it's negative 6 points at the end of the game.
So you need to make sure that your eyes aren't bigger than your stomach.
But we're not going to eat the destinations. You're just going to try to get there.
Tina, don't lick.
So another thing you have to keep an eye on if you complete all your destinations, you might be tempted to grab more, but the game ends whenever somebody has 2 or fewer trains remaining in their pool. So when that happens, everybody gets one last turn. So say Lisa has like 5 trains left. I might not want to be like, I'm going to get some tickets, because you don't know what these are going to be. And they're like all cross country, nothing that matches anything you've done, or cities that are already blocked or whatever. And so you're like, I guess I'm going to take this one that I could possibly complete. And then she's like, I'm going to put out 4 trains. I got 1 left. You got 1 more turn. Deal with it.
You're screwed.
You gotta think about that too, because it might be better to just try and play trains out for the instant points and maybe try to get that longest train route bonus.
And this is sometimes cutthroat, so sometimes there's only one connection into a city. If someone takes it, you're not getting into that city. Or the East Coast, there's a lot of crammed areas in the north, in the New England area. Goodness, I couldn't think of it.
No one does.
So if those are blocked and you've got a destination card that takes you there, you may not have a chance to get in there, which means you're not getting it. So that can be very frustrating. Sometimes there are routes that have two tracks side by side, so 2 people can go there. But again, if you're playing multiplayer, once those are gone, you don't get in there. So the game usually happens, at least from our experience, the first few rounds, you're just accumulating train cards, color cards that you're just building your deck with. And it's usually the first time. It could go 3 or 4 rounds where people are just taking trains, and then one person lays a train, and then all of a sudden panic ensues. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're going to take my spot. We got to go.
Go, 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 go.
So then you start seeing everybody play cards to build their trains on the tracks.
It seems like everyone has this strategy of, I'll have a route planned out, and so this route uses red and blue and green. And so I'll be like, you know what, I need 2 blues, so I'm going to draw those. All right, so I got the 2 blue I need for there. You know what, I'm not going to play these 2 blue. I'm not going to let people know where I'm going yet. The next spot is red, so I'm going to pick up that red, and I know that after that red is a green, so I'll pick that up. So I'll start building out a hand that's doing the whole route. But eventually you'll like watch what other people are doing, and it's like, why are they taking all the red? Are they trying to take that one? And so then you're going to stake your claim and play your 2 out, and then you find out how many people are also have tickets in that area, because they start flipping out and start dropping, and everyone's just dropping trains. Trying to stake their claim.
For a nice family game, it can get brutal. You can have some family fights.
Yeah, there's some places on the map that you may not have a ticket for, but you know what? I'm gonna put my trains there because that's a commonly used route on some tickets, and that's the only way into that spot, and so I'm gonna do it.
Or you could be a complete jerk and know that somebody needs that one spot, and it's the only way in, and you're just gonna take it just so they can't.
I'm a jerk.
Yeah, because you'll see people, they'll put some trains out here and they'll put some trains out here, and then they'll start building from this way out, and here's a connection here, and you're like, they would probably like to make that connection. I'm going to take that spot instead.
Just to be a jerk.
I'm a jerk!
Because it's interesting on the tickets, the points. So Sault Ste. Marie to Miami is 12 points if you complete it. If you count up the shortest route, it takes 12 trains. So it's one point per train. If somebody gets in your way,
You gotta go
you're
around.
going to have to go around a little bit. All of a sudden, that 12 train route is taking you 16, 20 trains to go around.
Too many.
So what you're looking for is maybe, if it's Sault Ste. Marie to Miami, maybe you have a Miami to Chicago, and so you can do that one. Then you could go from Chicago to Sault Ste. Marie and try to get 2 done. So you're trying to get the most points you can with your limited number of 45 trains.
It's all about finding ways to make yourself more efficient.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's pretty much the base game.
Yep.
Yep.
So you can bring in, again, the different expansions may bring in a few different components, a few different rules. Europe, for example, brings in, it's a little damaged. Brings in what?
Tunnels.
Tunnels.
Tunnels. I'm getting distracted. So it'll actually bring in tunnels.
Just tunnels.
And that's a little bit unique. So you have to do a tunnel, you have to have the number of cards, colored cards that it takes. Usually they're gray, so it's any color for that. But then it's got a weird component where you have to turn over 3 cards from the top of the deck. And if any of those are the color you played, you have to play an additional color from your hand that matches that. So you've got to be really careful when you do your tunnels to make sure you've got either a wild card in your hand. If you turn over 3 cards that match your color, you've got to produce 3 more cards of that color. So you got to put that in mind. If you can't, you're not getting that tunnel. You get to take your cards back, but you're not completing that tunnel, and now everyone knows
That turn's wasted.
that turn's wasted. Everyone knows you want that tunnel. So they also introduce another unique thing of stations. Is that what they're called? Stations.
Yep.
So it makes it a little bit it helps you achieve your routes. So Europe is a little bit more condensed. You don't have as many open spaces for trains like the United States map. So if someone takes your route and there's no way for you to get in there, you can use one of your station tokens, and you get 3 of them. And you basically pay a card for that token, and you put it on the section of train tracks that you need. And it's someone else's track, but you're basically borrowing it. You've put a station there so you can use their track, and that gets you to your destination. If you need to use your second station token, you pay 2 cards to get that token out, and then your third station will be 3 cards. So you have to increase the payment for it, but it allows you to get to your destination. It kind of takes you out of the longest train because you can't use the other person's section of train to get yours, to count towards yours. But it does allow you to get that destination completed if that's what you need.
And any station that you don't use at the end of the game is 4 points.
So you don't want to use them, but they're there if you need to.
Yeah, if you've got a 12-point route that the only way you can complete it is by tagging on to somebody else's little stretch of train, then you're going to spend that 4 points to complete that 12, because otherwise you lose it.
Yeah. But if you're doing it for a 3-point destination, if there are any 3-point destinations, it's not worth it because you're losing 4 points for 3. So that's the variance with Europe, and those are the only ones we have. We have San Francisco, but this one's almost like a starter, like an introduction to Ticket to Ride, isn't it? It deals with ferries.
It's got the trolley cars.
Trolleys.
Truly utilitarian worldview!
Yeah. So yeah, this one I picked up at Target. They had it in the clearance section for $7, and so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try, because the box says 10 to 15 minutes playtime, where regular Ticket to Ride is an hour or more,
Yeah.
probably, depending on the number of people and how aggressive they are. And so we've only played this once as a 3-player game, but we can talk about Ticket to Rides in order. What are your thoughts on Ticket to Ride?
I enjoy it.
It's a good game. There are board game purists out there that will kind of like poo-poo it, be like, you know, it's not a super deep game, super heavy game. You know, they kind of see it as Catan. It had its place to introduce people to the hobby, and then you forget about it.
Mm-mm.
I kind of disagree with that. It is a great introduction to the hobby. I haven't introduced this game to somebody who hasn't turned around and bought it themselves. You know, I haven't met the person who doesn't enjoy it yet.
David doesn't like it.
I'm an exception.
Every time I think David has played it is when we're doing like with your family, and it's the full 5-player or whatever. 5-player. So, you know, I could see that maybe being a problem, because Ticket to Ride is not a short game, and when you add in 5 people each taking their turn, your turns are fairly short, but every player adds more playtime.
This is something we mainly play with his parents when we are over there. They're over here and we're playing games. They enjoy it a lot. They play it themselves a lot, and will actually take 2 sets of trains each, so they're actually playing 2 people.
They're insane.
She's certifiably insane.
They
So,
are. They are.
yeah, playing with two sets of 2 different colors of trains as one, and just filling the board up, and they'll just play it.
Yeah.
We bought them some of the expansion maps to play with, and they've played with them some, but for the most part, they're just playing the base game. They got the base game leaning up against the wall in the living room. The expansion maps are on in a cabinet somewhere. So when they want to play Ticket to Ride, they pick this up. They don't go looking for the maps.
He must make effort!
And for Christmas, we got them the new Ticket to Ride Legacy game. What's it called?
Ticket to Ride Legacy of the West or something like that.
Something like that. So we just started that this past weekend. It was fun.
We played
So-
the first game of that.
Yeah. So we bought that for them for Christmas with the condition that they had to play it with us 1 game a month, and they were happy with that. And so that's what we'll be doing for the year.
We'll probably talk about that when we complete it. I guess maybe we can rate the different versions that we got here.
Oh dear. Oh. I think my score is pretty much the same for all of them. This is probably the first game we use when we introduce anyone to the hobby. This will be the game that we kind of defaults. And this is the game. My sister had surgery a few years back, and she kind of did some recovery here with us, and we set up a table. She was on the couch. We brought this game out. This is the first game she ever played out of our collection, and she absolutely loved it. She got it herself. She introduced it to her kids, and so they play it. So they enjoy. She prefers the original over Europe, but we'll play that from time to time. But she's gotten exposure to more in-depth games, so she prefers those now.
It's a good game for gauging the people that you're introducing it to.
Mm-hmm.
If you introduce Ticket to Ride to somebody and they struggle with the rules a little bit, okay, then you know, okay, maybe we don't progress too much further from Ticket to Ride.
We have some neighbors who we've invited over a couple times for game night, and we've played this. They really, really enjoy it. So that's good. It's a good exposure game.
And I think they're ready to try some other stuff. They expressed some interest in some of the other games that we got, so we'll try that.
We'll try that.
I don't know that it's necessarily. I guess we could like review these two with a score. I wouldn't say I've got enough talk about San Francisco to actually do a review of that. But you're saying you think the score would be about the same for both of those for you?
Probably. I mean, I will, of the two, I will choose the original Ticket to Ride. I enjoy Europe. I don't mind playing it. My brother likes the Europe version much better because it's a bit more challenging. So he would always elect to play this one over the original Ticket to Ride. But I know the United States. I know the pieces of Canada. And this is older Europe, so a lot of the names are different now in today's time than it is on this map. So trying to remember history and where they are on the map is a little challenging for me. So
it's got Istanbul,
not Constantinople.
So yeah, I would think that the scores would probably be similar, because the things that I like in Europe that Europe does better also has an element that I don't like that Ticket to Ride doesn't have, and so it kind of balances out. I think Ticket to Ride, the base mechanics are fantastic. It's such a simple rule set, and easy.
The only downside I would give this one is in the original game the cards are so tiny that it's just, I don't like them. They're super small. So we got the expansion for it, which gives you the bigger cards, gives you a few more, or quite a few more destination tickets. So I like that. So I would, if I'm scoring it based on the original Ticket to Ride, I would give a ding to it for those tiny cards because they're not user friendly. But scoring it with the expansion in there, it'll get a full 7.
Yeah, I couldn't even, I can't even remember what it's like without that 1910 expansion with the bigger cards and more destinations. That's the only way that we play it, and we play with all the destinations together. Yeah, I would give it a straight 7 for the mechanics. I mean, it's there's nothing that I would change.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfectly designed game. It's not heavy, it's not deep, but I mean the challenge is there, the tension is there, of the idea of you can either draw cards or play trains on your turn is just the perfect amount of tension, because you're like, I need that blue train, so I have my 4 blue for this spot, and you're like watching everyone going around and being like, don't take that blue, don't take that blue, and then it comes around and it's like, excellent, I got that blue, all right, now my turn's over, don't take that spot, don't take that spot, don't take that spot, all right, it's back to me, I can play then and get that spot. So or
someone takes it and then you're like, oh, now I got to redo my entire train mapping to figure out how to get there, since I have to go around that spot now.
That's one thing that, like, teaching it to people, a lot of times they'll be like, I'm going to take that and then I'm going to play and then it's like, nope, you're not going to play your trains, you got to wait. And it's like,
but I don't want to.
Oh, okay. I'll just sit here and wait and hope nobody takes that spot. So yeah, for such a simple rule set, and the fact that the tickets count against you if you don't do it. So you're not just grabbing a bunch of tickets and trying to complete them. You actually got to put some thought to it.
Mm-hmm.
We played one game of this where the starting hand, you get 5 tickets and you can keep 3 of them. And I had 3 that just lined up perfectly. And it was like just one great big straight line. And I like to go for longest train. It's like, this is going to be great. And so I take those 3 cards and we're playing. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, it's other people's turn. Let me count how many trains are necessary to complete all 3 tickets. And I counted up and it was 45. So it's like, okay, if anybody gets in my way, I can't complete one of these tickets. and I don't dare take any more tickets at all because it's taking all of my trains to
Yeah.
do this. And I think I did
I think you
complete
got to
them,
complete it. Yeah.
but I don't think I won that game because I only had 3 completed tickets, and while they were long ones, the people who were doing a bunch of the smaller ones all tightly packed together and getting multiple tickets and stuff, they were able to get more points.
Yep.
So it's...
If we play with his parents, his mother usually always wins. She ends up with like 12 to 15 destination cards completed. How that woman does it, I don't know. But she's also not playing any trains until she has about 50 cards in her hands, and you're wondering how...
And she's still drawing off the top of the deck and being like, I'm not getting the card I want. And it's like,
How is that possible?
how can you not have the card you want in that handful of cards?
So yeah, she always wins, but she's got a million destinations when we're done. So components, play ability 7.
Okay. What about the X Factor?
I'd give it a 2. So I mean, this game is a 10. I'll be honest. This game is a 10, but it's not one I'm going to be like, why aren't we playing? If we have new people, absolutely, this is the game I'm going to suggest. But if it's Norm and I playing, this is not our go-to game. So I would still, though, I would give it a 10. Yeah, I would give it a 10. It's just it's a perfect game. It's just not one we play anymore when we're just playing the two of us.
I would agree. I would agree. It's a 10. If I was going with like how badly I wanted to play it, it would probably be an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
But I mean, this thing has sold millions of copies.
For a reason, yeah.
It has so many different versions of it. A crappy game doesn't get that.
Monopoly?
Shut up!
This game, it's got that X factor that it just fits in with so many people, gamers, non-gamers, and while gamers like us might want something with a little bit more meat, this fits in with so many different people, and you can get gamers and non-gamers sitting down and playing it.
My mom will play it.
It's perfect.
So that's a lot. She's not a gamer at all. She plays card games.
So is it a game that everyone should have? That's up to you. We have it in our collection because it introduces people to games, and it's so good at that. If we weren't introducing new people to games, we might still have the base edition, just because why wouldn't you? I don't know. It's like one of those that's like, yeah, we have a copy of Ticket to Ride. Do you play it? Not so much anymore, but we wouldn't get rid of it because
it's a 10.
it's Ticket to Ride.
It's Ticket to Ride.
So, I don't know. I might do Europe at a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a little bit of a dock. I like the fact that the map is tighter. So, Ticket to Ride, as the game goes on, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. This one stays tight from the start. And so I kind of like that. But the tunnels, that randomness, I don't know that I like it that much. When we played it with your family, your nephew was trying to do tunnel, and every time it'd flip over multiple colors, and
he never got his tunnel
and
completed.
it was just like,
Damn it, why would it work?
It was just heartbreaking to watch
all right.
And you can see he's getting frustrated, so he's not enjoying the game at this point. So I don't want to play a game where you see that someone is just not enjoying it anymore because of a random factor of a game, and that frustrates our son a lot too when there's random in games, even though he likes random in games.
I think it might be interesting if there was like a token that you would get. Be like, okay, I'm going for a tunnel. Okay, you failed. You get this token. The next time you try the tunnel, then you can turn in the token and the tunnel's completed.
Right.
Or
yeah, because you
can turn in that token for one of the cards, the colors that flips up. So if one color flips up, you can use that token.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So something like that, just so you're not just hit over and over again with the bad luck.
Yeah, I think he tried 4 times in a row for that tunnel, and finally got it on the 4th.
It was crazy because he had one colored card, so it's like if one flips over, I can do it, and it would just be 2 or 3 of that color flipping up just because of how the cards came out.
It was just so rough watching him not be able to progress in the game because of it. But so yeah, that's the one thing I would probably dock it for.
I don't know that Ticket to Ride needs more randomness thrown in. So
I like the stations because again, everything's so tight. Sometimes you don't need it, but when you do, it's so nice to have that.
Yeah, when we played Europe with my parents, they were like, "Can you give us something that we can use for stations for regular Ticket to Ride?" And they'll break that out when they're doing that insane 90 train per person game. They'll use stations for that.
And we don't. I don't like the stations in the standard game. I don't think it needs it. I think that it's great the way it is.
Yeah. So 10, 9. Won't give a rating for San Francisco, but in the one time we did play it, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's basically Ticket to Ride. It does add in a couple things where you can collect different.
Well, that's right.
Different tokens from different locations, and you get points based on how many of those you got. But it is a Ticket to Ride that plays, I don't know about the 10 to 15, but it's less than half an hour.
Yeah. We had a friend come in from out of town, and she stayed with us for the weekend, and we introduced her to that. She had never played Ticket to Ride, and so we introduced her to San Francisco, and then the next night we brought out the original Ticket to Ride. She really liked it. If she hasn't already, she's getting a copy of it. She thinks her husband would really enjoy it. So, I have yet to meet someone who doesn't like it.
So San Francisco. The only downside I see to this is normally this is like $25. They have one for Ticket to Ride New York, Ticket to Ride London, which is a small box like this, and they're $25. It's.
I don't think I'd pay $25 for that.
$7, great deal.
Yeah.
It's got a great insert in it.
Maybe even $15, but I don't think I'd pay $25 for it.
It does have the smaller cards, but I don't care. I don't care about the smaller cards in a 15-minute game. I'm not hanging on to them that long. But yeah, the components are great. The insert works great. So I understand why it's $25, but for the gameplay, you can spend $15 more and get the full thing. So if you can get this on a clearance,
that's the way to go.
Do it. But then that's if you want a 15-minute Ticket to Ride. So
Europe will take longer than the standard Ticket to Ride. Just throwing that out there too. It does take a little bit longer.
So
Ticket
to Ride, does it stay?
Europe, does it stay?
San Francisco, are we keeping it?
Probably. Yeah.
All 3?
Yeah. Ticket to Ride is always the one to introduce people to, but if they really, really enjoy it, that's when we can break out the Europe. It's a little bit more challenging, and if they like that, then we know, okay, we can introduce them to some heavier games. So I think, at least for the introduction purposes of exposing people to board games, absolutely, they stay. Ticket to Ride San Francisco, I think even younger folks can play it. Some kids can be introduced to it.
For that shorter attention span.
So, I think with us wanting to expose more people to games and the potential we have to do that, I think they stay in the collection.
I agree. San Francisco, the short play time, the ease, it's basically Ticket to Ride, but smaller. So nice for cases like where she had the coworker staying with us for a night after work. It's like, we might not want to spend an hour or so playing a game. It's like, all right, we'll play this. We can play 2 of these faster than we can play 1 of this. Mm-hmm. And so definitely worth keeping. Don't know if it's worth $25. Normal Ticket to Ride, great introduction. Definitely going to keep it. If one was going to go, for me, it would probably be Europe.
Agreed.
Europe, I would say, like, if we were ever going to play just the two of us, I think Europe is probably the one we would want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But like so many other games, if the two of us are going to play a 2-player game,
It's not going to be.
it's probably not going to be Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
And so this would be the one that I could see leaving the collection. But at the moment,
Not yet.
I think it's worth keeping.
Yep. So that's what we got. Ticket to Ride.
All right, we got 3 versions here, and if we ever
again,
wanted to, we could get borrow the expansion
We've got it.
maps. No, it's talking about the
Oh,
expansion
the
maps.
expansion maps. That's right. Yes.
So yeah, we'll be talking about the Legacy game when we finish that. And if you want to see some of the expansion maps, we've got a couple sets of those for my parents, and some of those are better at different. I think there's a 2-player version. I think that's one reason why I got the maps collections I did, was because they come with different numbers of maps, and some of them are 2-player maps. So if you're interested in those, as to whether or not those actually are worth getting, please let us know, and I'll swing by their place and grab one. We can play some games of it. So
That's it.
that's it. We're losing our natural sunlight in this room.
Yeah.
So I think we should end it.
So we'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us. We are, New Year's resolution is to make more videos this year, share our collection with you guys, and make some space and have some shelf control. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. What happened to this box?